Hi, my name is Irum Rashid Jones, and I'm the owner of Electrician on Call. So we are a electrical and heating, ventilation, and cooling company. We've been around for about 20 years, and I've gotten into the construction industry because my undergrad is actually in telecommunications management, which is all of the different ways that we connect. And with that, there's a very technical side, and so I felt like it was a very exciting career to be in the construction industry. And I felt like I could bring a lot of value by focusing on safe, comfortable spaces that are efficient in energy. So there was a lot of focus in that. And so we've grown to become one of Dallas Fort Worth's, family owned businesses that people trust. And that's how we've gotten here. I didn't know much about energy at all. My husband that I met in college was already an electrician, and so through knowing how he worked and what he was focusing on, really gave me a good understanding of the different landscape of the careers in construction. And so I always thought, looking in, not being a part of it, that there was just one single job and that's what it was. But actually looking into it, diving a little deeper, there's energy generation, there's energy preservation, then there's how do we distribute energy, and then how do we maintain it. And so from a household standpoint, electricians, there's not many of them, number one, but number two, it's their job is so important because we are so energy dependent, and everything, even if it's solar, converts into this energy usage. And I just thought it was so fascinating because technology also adapts to the different type of electricity. There's low voltage, high voltage, then there's the normal standard one that we use. So I just thought it was such a fascinating thing because things were emerging, technology was in the forefront, and you're right, there wasn't a lot of women in it. I just felt like there wasn't a lot of exposure that allowed us to see all of the different facets of the careers that were there. So I felt like I was very lucky to know someone that was in the industry that also explained and was very patient to show me the landscape of all the other things that we can do. And so that's why we stayed here, we stayed in this industry, and there's other services that we provide, just not the electrical stuff that you can think of like, oh, it's just home renovations. No, it's so much more. We get to sit on boards with different car manufacturers, for example, to learn about like electronic vehicles and how do we service that. So it is an incredible, exciting project. Yes. So, we started Electrician on Call while we were in college. Okay. So if you're listening to this and you're in high school and you're like, you started this the first year you were in college, absolutely, because I believed in it so much. And I felt like when you have the right people around you that are supporting your goals or are not afraid of the dreams that you're putting out there, it makes everything very tangible. You can see it and you can feel it. And even when you run into obstacles, you know that you're in the right path and there's people and resources that can help you. And now more than ever, it's much easier. And I say that because I come from a time where the internet kind of just started. Like back then it was Ask Jeeves. There wasn't Google, okay? It was Ask Jeeves, look it up. So we were very limited on how we can self-service ourselves, right? So we had to fight really hard to get the right resources in front of us. And now it's easier to do that. There were many days where people would go, well, you're a woman. Why do you want to be in construction? Or why do you feel so strong about this industry? And I always felt like it was the backbone. I always had such respect and felt so much honor for these people that went out there and made sure we had clean water to drink and just, electricity to use, and that we're not in a country or in a system where, we have constant blackouts. And that's actually normal for a lot of people throughout the world. And so I felt like being part of that bigger, industry and doing our part was very important. And also helping to communicate. I've always been an over communicator because I speak several different languages. So in my brain, one word translates to 4 different words. So I felt like it was really in my best, using my skill sets to be able to translate what's happening for people. And so they understand the best solutions they have in their household, why we're putting in those solutions, or if there's a safety concern, what does that really mean at the end of the day? And so throughout that time, my business partner was my husband, right? And so we would strategize a lot. We had open communication. We would work on really understanding what are the different services that we offer. And we were also very young, so we were kind of growing in and finding ourselves of what we gravitated to. So eventually he became a master electrician, one of the youngest in the state at that point. He was under the age of 30. And on my end, I went more towards electrical design, consumption, and also the part of clean energy. So what does that all mean? And so that's what I did. So I handled that piece of it. Then I realized that, oh my gosh, as a business owner, I have to wear two hats. It's not just about what I know technically, but I have to learn how to, work the business, work in the business, on the business. And so with that, I kind of grew and found some of the best coaches, some of the best people that have been there, done that. And I'm very teachable. So I would take their advice. And that's the other thing. When you're learning how to run a business, you don't know everything up front. So sometimes you have to get out of your own way, because not all of your ideas are going to be the best ideas, but they can lead to really great solutions. And so that was something that we did. We always put the company, the best interest of the company forward. And then we as business owners, learn how to communicate and figure out what is the right thing to do. So don't be scared of running your own business. Just know that you're going to come up with a lot of obstacles in your way, but don't let that demotivate you. That's just part of the process. What I absolutely love that fulfills me is knowing that my company, my techs, the platform that we created helps people like you and me, like your parents, your coworkers, everyone, to live in a safer, more comfortable space. What we do matters so much, because we're the reasons that you have air conditioning in your home. We're the reasons that you feel safe sleeping at night, knowing your fire detectors will go off, right, if an emergency happens, and that we're bringing that value to you. We really not only save lives, we prevent lives from being hurt. And so every day when we step into a situation, whether it's to remedy a critical situation or to make things a little brighter and make people feel comfortable, we feel so fulfilled knowing that we're part of that process. And that's what I enjoy so much about it, because anytime you call on us, we're going to fix the issue. We're either going to make you more comfortable or we're going to make you happy. Who doesn't want to live in that space? So you see that kind of radiant energy go through every single person in our company, because we know how much of value that we bring to the table, and we absolutely love what we do. My biggest achievement, I'm one of those people that operate with, it's not about me, it's about we. And I would probably say being able to transparently share success with other people. That's what makes me happy. And I think that that's my biggest achievement, is staying on track, being successful, defined by what I deem as successful, which is just being happy and being able to use my talents and spread my talents in different areas. That's my biggest achievement. I was really thinking strong about this one, and I realized that there's a common theme in my life, and that was, I've always been surrounded around educators, and that's like teachers, counselors, just incredible, kind, nurturing, considerate people. And what many people don't know about me is, although, I'm a first, generation American, I immigrated from another country over here, but I also unfortunately landed myself in the foster care industry, and I call it foster care industry, but the foster care system when I was a teenager. So I had a very difficult, I didn't have a lot of stability, but what I did have was caring teachers, counselors. I still have so many of them that we're in connection with. I connected with my biological mom, and sometimes, life takes you through different paths where you realize just where you are in a certain, life stage, and, how that all relates to one another. And what I've noticed with some of the incredible women, like Dr. Lynette Menezes, who was my counselor when I was 14 years old, and we still have an excellent relationship now, is she's someone who stepped in and made it okay to be expressive about how you feel, and not to use that as a way to be, feel weak about yourself. But if you're hurt, you say that you're hurt. If you're happy, it's okay to show that happiness, and to look at the world in this perspective that it's possibilities and opportunities. And that's saying it to someone that didn't have a stable environment, and that mindset, kept me going strong. And I would say the resilience of, my own biological mom to leave a country and to start a brand new career, and, make the sacrifices that she did, and attempt to raise, 5, 6 children of her own on a shoestring budget. And to watch that happen and to think, wow, how resilient and strong can someone be to then take that and then go out and educate other people. So all through my life, I've been actually surrounded by amazing teachers, educators, counselors that had children of their own, considered children like me, that were part of their classroom experience to be an extension of them. And so that's what I look back on, is just the kindness in that. And so everyone that I mentioned, and there's also, Robin Turner, there's also Maria Alamo. These are all people that have such kindness, consideration, gentleness. They're very strong women, strong-willed. They're women that back up and support so many other women in business, but there's such a gentle side to them that they help balance out and help you realize and stay on track why you're in business in the first place. And that really is to change communities, to give back, to spread your resources, and to inspire others to step up. So those are some of the women that really are the wind beneath my wings, and we're still in contact till today. So it's a wonderful experience to have that lifelong journey and to have them there with me. I've been given so much great advice, because I'm a lifetime learner. And I would say, I'll give you a few of them because I feel like they're so important for people to know. One of them is to be in that mindset that a smart person learns from their own mistakes, but a wise person learns from others. And sometimes you don't have to get into that mistake, right? You could have avoided it just by listening to good counsel. So that's number one. Another one that I felt like was so important to me was that we always do everything with this authenticity and kindness, and we gravitate to that. So always be that light in the room, or reflect that light. And someone told me a long time ago that sometimes you're going to be put into really dark spaces. This is the story of my life, right? We're going to be put in really dark spaces, and you have to, realize very quickly, are you going to be that candle that is going to light up that room, or are you going to reflect whatever other light is in that room to brighten it up? And so those were very important things that I've learned throughout my life. And then the other thing was really about people. A lot of what we do, how we feel, how we do business is all about people. It really isn't at the technical side. The best leaders are the ones that over communicate and are kind and generous and empathetic. So, having that mindset of understanding that there's no such thing as bad people, just maybe bad situations. But everyone is a good person if you understand that at the core, as a humanitarian. If you understand that, it helps you understand that don't get your feelings hurt too quick. Don't take offense too quick. Everyone is trying their best. And so that really helped me along the way in my journey as an adolescent all the way to the adult till today. Don't get easily offended by anything, just know that people are trying to do their best, and therefore you try your best as well. The great Zig Ziglar, he was this amazing man who not only spread kindness around, but he was a great leader, and a lot of people in leadership understand his philosophy through things. And I was just so blessed to be mentored by him through a leadership program before he passed away. And one of his greatest quotes, and I say this one daily, is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And that means so many things on so many different levels, because for the person that has never ventured out to start anything, taking that first step means everything. And one step at a time is going to lead you to that goal. And for that person that has taken so many chances and maybe has failed so many times, it's okay. Pick yourself back up, keep moving forward. And for that person that's always winning, so we always know people like that. That's what they do. That's the recipe for success, is they keep moving forward. They always start, and they help others start as well. So that's one that I really, really enjoy sharing with other people, and helping them understand who Zig Ziglar is, and to read more of his quotes that he has out there. Well, one of the things really with Women's International Day, the message behind that, we didn't have that growing up. This is something that's amazing for the future moving forward, is we have these special days, these special months that we can really focus in on. And so when you think of, International Women's Day, that's definitely a day to be very intentional, to connect, to collaborate. And when you connect and collaborate, you're actually empowering, right? You're empowering yourself and you're empowering others. And so really understanding at its core, what does it mean to empower one another? It doesn't mean that we're just going to show up for one single day or one single month and say, hey girl, I support you. But it's really, really putting some action behind it. And so I would hope that when we think about International Women's Day, that's what we think about. We think about that at a local level, regional, national, and global level. There's so much history that, and especially in construction, there's so much history out there that isn't widespread, is unknown. There are so many women that help support in new inventions, are inventing things, are trailblazing, breaking glass ceilings, and our future generations need to know about it, because we're trailblazing for you. We're trying to make it easier for you. Imagine if somebody would have done this for us growing up. I don't even know where we would be. I know guaranteed there wouldn't be any salary caps. I know that there would be a lot more women in history, and right now there isn't. When you think of it, there's a lot of history that leaves women out, and especially in construction. When we took a deep dive into that, I created a organization called Lady Pros, which is a national organization for women in the trades, construction, home services, and we were left out of history. We were left out of the boardrooms. We were left out of key decisions. And now that you look at some of the trends that are happening in construction, you can see the gap. You can see that sometimes there would have been a safer alternative to use, right, than a certain material or product. Now there's, large women groups that are very passionate about making sure that there's safe materials used in our clothing as well, just all of those things that women bring to the table. So just know that, International Women's Day, Women's History Month shouldn't be a 1 month thing. It should be something that you're intentional about, and that whatever you're learning, share it with others, because not everyone knows where to get the resources from. So if you're tapped in, please tap into other people and let them know what you're learning. Celebrate it, use social media to spread the news. And if you know of an incredible woman doing something out there, send her an email, say, look, I see you, I hear you, I love what you're doing, thank you, continue on. Because for women leaders, it is really tough out there. Sometimes we take a lot of stuff and we take it and we just lock it up and we can't share it with other people. So sometimes when younger generations, tap us and go, look, you're my hero right now, or hey, this is incredible what you're doing, I'm on the same path, we just open up the doors and give you whatever resources that you need. So be intentional about that. Don't be afraid of women that are a little bit older, a little bit, more on their journey than you. We're here doing this for you, okay? So don't lose sight of that. So I think that that's my message really for anyone coming in, or any woman really that's in the industry, is that we're really here. We're on the same side. We're here to support one another. And if you come knocking and asking for any type of support, the door is wide open, and we're here for one another. And that really starts with culture of the company. And so, for example, I was in corporate America for many years. I still consult in corporate America. And so a lot of times I come in and I ask the questions, how do you celebrate all people? Now let's break it down. How do you celebrate your emerging leaders? How do you celebrate your women? How do you, celebrate the different pockets of communities within your company? Let's make sure everyone feels celebrated and heard and listened to, because at the very root, what we want to be as people is to be heard, seen, and listened. Everyone is craving the same thing. And without that, that's what detaches us. And so, with Women's History Month, I think it's great for more companies to come forward and to celebrate that. But let's go beyond that. If you know that a woman is being paid, much less than what her counterparts are being paid, please support her. Do a salary adjustment, do the right thing. I've had incredible male leaders who did that for me. And when I talk about salary adjustments, it wasn't like a 5% salary adjustment. They sat down, they did exactly what was right. Until this day, the amount of level of respect that I have for them from the example that they sat there helps me let other leaders know that they are not being too generous by doing that. They are doing the right thing. And that's really what leaders should do. They should do the right thing. And if you're a woman in position, and I want to just let you know, don't be afraid to be the only woman in the room. Please open the doors for other women. We're there to support one another. There's just, if we put collaboration at the forefront, that means that we're all working together towards the same goals. And I think that's what it really should be about: open dialogue, understanding what each other needs, and helping to give the right resources to people so they can really move forward and thrive. And one thing we know for sure, statistically, happy people, anyone that's happy, is going to do a lot more than they were put on their plate. They're going to be appreciative. They bring a different energy to the room. And happy people are productive people. They love what they do, and they help that culture of collaboration and support continue to move on. So work on making your people happy. There's the 3 P's in life, and this is what we say in Electrician on Call. You know what comes first? The first P is people. People come first. After people, it's planet, and planet means like the community. What are we doing to make the community better outside of our doors? And the last one is profits. Profits will come if you treat your people right. If you do what's right, everyone's going to do what's right by the company. And you're going to see that transition throughout. And so, over the 20 plus years being corporate America, running Electrician on Call, being a 5-star company, and only being involved in 5-star solutions, that's been that secret recipe throughout the whole piece. And you can't do that without that sprinkle of kindness, in the mix. And that's the other thing, that sometimes we watch things on TV and we go, if you're going to be the most productive person in the room, you can't be kind, because kindness is deemed as a weakness. And that is so untrue. They're doing more and more studies showing that the soft skills like kindness, empathy, respect, listening, active listening, these are all some of the most important tools that you can, and skills that you can build on, that are going to take you to higher heights. So focus on those skills as well. And so that's about it. I think that's advice for employers and employees to get the ball started. But you know what? You don't have to just wait for the employer, which is leadership, to step up and come up with an idea. So if you're an employee and your employer has a suggestion box, whether it's digital or not, throw something in there and say, hey, I kind of feel invisible, or hey, when are we going to do XYZ? Because they may not know. And if you know, it is now your responsibility to help other people kind of fill in those gaps. So that's the piece of advice for everyone. It's always to believe in yourself. And so for the young girls out there, just know that you have the ability to do great things. You may not see it now. You may not understand what your talent is. Talent isn't all about singing and dancing and a performance. Sometimes your talent might just be being the kindest person in the room, being the most analytical person in the room, or someone that's just the most focused person. That may be your talent. And if you focus on that, you can go so far. But always believe in yourself, be authentic, and you have the ability, and you will do great things. I would say intentional, because I believe that we have to be actionable in what we do. In order to be actionable, you have to be intentional and think about, at least 10 steps ahead of every step you're going to take. And one of the things that I tell people that I mentor is, don't be 10 steps ahead, think 30 steps ahead. And people go, wow, that's way too much. But when you really put it in perspective, why are you doing what you're doing when you're doing what you're doing? and you do that, and you have that, methodology, that process in place, that helps you understand your why. And sometimes that's what you need to put in the forefront to keep going. And so being intentional in everything that you do, personal, professional, really kind of sets the stage for your life and helps you put your energy into the right spots. So, for example, in my life, when people go, wow, you seem very, busy, and I go, no, I'm not busy. I'm productive because I love everything that I do. I don't put my energy in anything that I don't gravitate to. And that's how you kind of stay fresh on things, and then how you're able to give your best towards those different areas. So I would say intentional is the word for me.